Hunters, welcome to this weapon guide. Today we'll be looking at the Spectre 1882 as requested by the polls. The beginner guides will also be coming, as well as the Choconu guide, but I'll focus on the Spectre for now. The Spectre 1882 is a 5-round capacity, aka 4 in the tube, 1 in the chamber, pump-action shotgun that is pretty accessible due to its okay price and versatile variants. It comes with a total of 3 variants, and those each serve a decent purpose. We will be looking both at the big variants and the shorty variant, and I'll just be giving my opinions like in all guides. Anyway, let's roll the clips. Okay.
Der hier oben liegt auf jeden Fall noch.
Headshot. Over here.
I'm going to you.
Got him. So, the Spectre 1882 in its base configuration is pretty good due to the fact that it comes with multiple rounds, a good fire rate, and solid damage. It also benefits from having a plethora of custom ammos, including Flechette, Slugs, Dragon's Breath, and of course being equipped with the normal ammo that every shotgun comes with. The Spectre does pretty well in every role it's really given. With Slugs it's pretty lethal, but requires you to have Iron Eye, and even then its mechanism can obstruct your aim between shots, so that is something to keep in mind. With Buckshot, the thing turns into a CQC beast to easily pace your attacks while going for the enemy. It is a gun that is often underrated in my opinion, and we really saw use after they buffed its fire rate. Dragon's Breath is more of a meme ammo, but can certainly prove its worth due to the fact that it can quickly burn enemy health away if you're fighting at ranges where one shot is not that likely. Of course, Flechette is more of a supportive role / a range extension. If you find yourself often playing at ranges where normal buckshot doesn't kill, but you still fire off your shot, be it out of panic or desperation, try giving Flechette a shot. It removes the ability to one-shot, but it does give you the ability to do more consistent damage at range and also applies a bleeding effect to the enemy. While that effect isn't big and you lose out on wall pen, just like with Penny Shot for example, which I forgot to mention, it is still worth considering, especially if you say that you struggle to keep your distances close or maybe don't know how to approach enemies yet. The basic Spectre benefits from 2 perks really. One of them is Bullet Grubber, which allows you to keep the round that you would normally lose when reloading a unfull magazine, and of course Iron Eye, which increases repeating fire speed. Both perks have their place, although I don't really take Iron Eye too often, since I don't really play Slugs. My suggestion is, if you're playing Slugs, take Iron Eye, or if you see yourself aiming a lot, although I will just say yet again, in my opinion, a shotgun that is firing anything except Slugs should be fired from the hip, not through the aimed sight, since it gives you a movement advantage, which allows you to dodge enemy rounds. This advantage allows you to be much more aggressive and take more risks than your enemies can, because they will have to aim their rifles, perhaps their bow if they're using poison arrows for example, while you can just push, aim, pull the trigger, and if you're lucky you tap them, otherwise just repeat the action, reload, and push out again. A guide on combat tactics will be made, but I'll just simply have to see how I structure all those projects. Another trick you can use with the Spectre to save the perk points, especially if you don't have it unlocked but still want to play the Spectre after a prestige for example, is to just hold down the fire button after firing a round. That makes it so that your character doesn't rechamber the next round and allows you to reload without losing a round, since now you will only eject the spent cartridge and still load up to full. An empty magazine will never load up to full. It will only load the 4 rounds in the tube. To reload a full magazine, you'd have to reload again, either losing a round without bullet grubber or losing no rounds if you have bullet grubber. Anyway, how should the base Spectre be played? As I said, peekaboo tactics are the best with it, because if you don't one-tap, you can just quickly go behind cover, recharge the shotgun / rack the slide, peek out again and fire, minimizing your exposure to the enemy and ensuring that you play to your best of abilities. Another thing I will tell you is try to play to your shotgun strength, no matter which shotgun you play. That means try to stick to tight corners and try to keep the distance close. For example, if you're using a pistol and hit the enemy and it goes into cover, then feel free to just push. Use the time to close the gap, throw grenades, throw chokes, pressure the enemy, tell your teammates to use beetles. Do all those things so that the enemy cannot shoot at you when you cross the open field. That allows you to get close, and in close range, unless they have something like a nitro or perhaps their own shotgun, maybe a melee tool, you will be the one coming out on top. That allows you to swiftly take out enemies and keep the pressure up. Plus, you're very good at holding bodies in tight corridors. A shotgun that places himself well, keeps the distances close, and doesn't fire too early to give away your advantage is one of the most lethal weapons there is. There is also the fact that shotguns can be used to slip into compounds swiftly, but as I said, more on that on the guide that comes in regards to combat or combat roles as I can find them to be used. Anyway, the next Spectre is the Spectre Bayonet. The Spectre Bayonet is a variant that has a shortened barrel and a bayonet attachment. The problem that I have with the Spectre Bayonet / most people have is the fact that you get a shorter barrel and obviously a bayonet. And while you say, why is the bayonet a problem? The problem is, while the bayonet can certainly save you if you run out of ammo or if somebody's charging with a melee weapon, the issue simply lays in the fact that the bayonet doesn't come into use 90% of cases, and you lose a bit of Spectre range due to the cut down barrel being needed. Saying that, I don't hate the Spectre Bayonet. It's just if you want pure performance, play the normal Spectre, or if you want compact performance, play the Spectre Shorty. The Spectre Bayonet is in a bit of a weird spot where if you feel that you need it, be it to take out AI so you can take a different tool instead of a melee one, or if you need it for close range because you're so aggressive / need to defend yourself against melees quite often, then take it. It's not a bad weapon, it's just obviously a bit downgraded compared to the base variant due to the bayonet attachment point. Another important thing to remember though is the fact that Spectre especially often suffers from the round in the chamber glitch. The round in the chamber glitch can happen when you're, for example, downed and you were racking the slide in the process. What happens is that the game gets confused, and you will see it in your HUD. Sometimes you will just see a small white dot, which is normal, that's fine. As long as you still see a bit of small in your chamber, that means that the round is loaded. There is also a glitch where you see nothing in the chamber, not even that small white dot, meaning your chamber is empty, but the game is not prompted to re-rack the slide. If you suspect that your chamber is empty and the game is not re-racking the slide, please pull the trigger or reload depending on the weapon, because it can also happen to the slade or similar weapons. And if you hear a click and then a racking of the slide, be happy that you just saved your life. Anyway, let's move on to the last weapon in the family, the Spectre Shorty. The Spectre Shorty is a bit of a weird one, because it's obviously a much cut down version of the Spectre coming with one less round, and that really just makes it very hard to sort in. Some people use it with the base buckshot, which is valid, don't get me wrong. And I mean, others use slugs on it, which you can do. Although I would personally say I wouldn't use slugs on the Spectre Shorty too much. While it is fun, and I certainly did it collecting clips for this video, which I may show, I don't know yet, the Spectre Shorty with slugs removes the effectiveness of slugs, and that's kind of bad. Plus I feel if you take a compact shotgun, you want it for self-defense, not really something to planfully aim. So my suggestion would be run basic buckshot if you want ammo accessibility and consistency, and if you're feeling more advantageous / experienced, you can also run flechette. And you may be confused as to why run flechette. Flechette removes your one-shot. That is correct. But for example, a strategy I use is, especially if you're playing high damaging rifle of at least, let's say, 130 damage, maybe something like a Sparks, is the Sparks Poison Spectre Flechette combo. What I like to do is I, for example, play either Sparks Silencer or the Sparks Normal with a poison round loaded, tag the enemy at a decent range, and immediately follow it up with a hipfire shot from my Spectre Flechette. This tactic is very lethal due to the small margin of error. I mean, it's not that hard to hipfire a shotgun which has very great hipfire. Flechette flies very fast, has very good range, and does decent enough damage over range to ensure that you get the kill. Sure, if you hit an arm with the Sparks, or a bad shot with the Spectre, the enemy may still get away, but most of the time you will just one-tap them. Which is pretty good, because that allows for quick follow-ups and still gives you closer range utility. Sure, normal ammo is better if you're fighting more close range, but Flechette works best for those follow-ups even at a bit of a range because of the way Hunt's damage drop-off works on shotguns. I'd suggest you experiment with that. To round up, the Spectre 1882 is a very versatile, but at times wasteful weapon due to the fact that it needs bullet grubber to work efficiently. It can suffer from the round in the chamber glitch, which is bad, but it comes with a small variant in the form of a 2-slot weapon that benefits from comboing it with stronger rifles, or from it being used as a last resort self-defense, similar to the penny shot Derringer. Or you can use the large variants as aggressive pushes, either using the full-length variant to dispense slugs or flechette or buckshot, or any of the other ammo types as you see fit, or you can just use the bayonet variant in case you encounter desperate times often where you have to defend yourself against melee weapons and can't work with the shotgun's precision. Another thing is that the bayonet variant allows you more flexibility at the sort of cut down range though, so you'll have to see which one works best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you liked it, I hope I could satisfy the cravings you had by voting for the gun, and I wish you a nice weekend.
Got one.
Oh, bounty.
That bounty is what I killed earlier, which